The Tragedy of Cinema podcast is intended as a family-friendly program that by extension strives to be inclusive to all people regardless of their ethnicity, gender, creed, or any other identifying factors in this incredibly diverse world of ours. With that said, some of the films we discuss may contain serious subject matters or have content considered morally objectionable by today's standards. We do not intend to condone or dismiss these aspects of these films, but our primary focus will be on what we believe the film succeeds at, some fun facts, and our personal enjoyment factors of each film. With that said, we hope you enjoy the show.
In a world of lesser-known and B movies, only two men can give it the justice they deserve. The Tragedy of Cinema proudly presents I Can't Believe That Was a Movie, starring Jimbo and legendary co-host Art Toast. All right, guys, welcome back to the Tragedy of Cinema podcast, the I Can't Believe That Was a Movie series. I am your host, Jimbo.
And I'm Art Toast.
It's already going to be one of those episodes, people, so just bear with us.
It's always one of those episodes.
Right, so today we're doing a movie I picked, probably about 8 months ago now at this point, but we're finally sitting down to record it. I watched this thing about 4 or 5 times, but it's The Wasp Woman from 1959. But Dad, before we get started, yeah, I know, I have a question for you. Well, more of a story time with Art, if you will. Do you remember that you used to pride yourself of never having been stung by a bee for as long as I can remember? How old were you when you got your first bee stung? Because I remember Mom said, "You're not going to believe this. Your dad got stung by a bee after all these years."
Right. I was probably...
You was past 50, weren't you?
Probably mid-50s, I would say. But now to tell the story, I want to start a new podcast called Stories by Art Toast. But as a kid, we used to get these old peanut butter jars and things like that. They were glass and had the tin thing on it. We'd poke holes
like a canning jar?
Yeah, but we couldn't afford canning jars. After we ate the peanut butter, we washed them out. And we'd go out there and...
Washed? Is that with a wash rag?
No, it's with an R. Anyhow, we'd go out there and we had a pretty big side yard there, and the clover, the bees all get in. We'd go out there and we would catch them bees in them jars and keep it, and we'd get several of them in there, and you'd hold it up to your ear and hear them buzzing. But the thing of it is, you kept them overnight, and the next morning they were dead.
So we're back to torturing animals in this episode, like we poured salt on the snugs.
Well, now they'll throw you in prison for killing a bee, I think, but I'm not sure.
So out of all those times, you never got stung?
Never got stung.
Did your brothers and sisters?
You got stung
by a wasp.
Before I did, by a wasp.
And Mom got stung by the exact same wasp, I think, on the same day.
Well, we'll save that for another podcast.
What?
Stories about Jimbo, and he was only about 4, wasn't you?
What?
When you got stung with the wasp down at Paul Liebert's barn.
Oh well, I'm not talking about that.
He chewed tobacco and put tobacco juice on it. So that's the best thing for.
It was, and I watched the stinger come out of my hand and my chest. But do you remember Frankie the wasp at your brother's house? That Mom got stung and I got stung by the wasp, and our sides swelled up. Yeah, Frankie. We named him Frankie the Wasp.
And you guys think I'm crazy.
Well, apple doesn't fall that far from the
this
tree.
Is going in an hour and a half episode here, if you're not careful. Anyhow, we was down in Tennessee.
So he keeps going.
Well, you want me to save my story for the next one?
Is this that one? Or is this another one?
This is the first time I ever got stung.
Oh, I thought that was oh, you mean when you were over 50?
Yeah.
Oh, well, let's hear it.
We was down at Standing Stone fishing. And kept knowing, we was down on the backside of this lake, and we was fishing, and kept noticing bees, quite a bit of bees around. And so they started buzzing around us, and So I was sort of swatting at them, and more of them kept coming at me. And so I threw my pole down and ran up toward where the truck was parked. And everybody said, "What's wrong?" I said, "Them bees are after me." And I think when I finally figured out where they was coming from, there was a root there, and when you would step by that on that root or something, they would come out. Well, they started coming out more and more, and they started going by your mom too. And so they was swarming us. We both threw our poles down. Both of us ran up there to the truck, and I told your mom. She got in. I got in. I felt one on my back. That ain't the one that stung me though. I pulled off my shirt. I said, "There's one on my back," and I pulled it off and threw it out. I jumped in the truck and rolled down the window. So we sat there for a little bit and said, "Well, let's go back and see again." And so we walked back down there, and no sooner I got down there, and a bee come out again, and he nailed me right above my ear on my head. And I said, "He got me! He got me! He got me!" So we both go running back up to the truck. And
Are you still shirtless at this point?
I think I put my shirt back on, but I rolled down, just cracked our window, and I told Becca, Jeremy's still down there fishing. He said, "You guys come, bring our poles." So that's my.
Do you also remember the time when I think we were in our Dodge Omni, and we were at Big Lots waiting for Mom to come out, and I was sitting behind you, and I put my hand down on that bee, and it stung me right there too.
Yeah,
that was crazy too. But anyway, that's
you're ripe stuff for the Wasp Woman.
Now, do you want me to tell you something terrible?
What?
It's not recording, so we're going to go. No, I'm kidding. Your face, you was like, "You got to be kidding."
You gotta be kidding me. I could see you doing something like it.
It's happened before where I've watched whole episodes. So.
Does Carl have to put up with all this?
Every week. All right, so I think we've wasted enough of the people's time with our bee sting story. So stay tuned for further adventures from Art Toast. You never know what's going to happen. But yes, let's get back to the movie at hand, which is The Wasp Woman. So Art, take it away.
I done forgot it.
You need to watch it again before we start.
The Wasp Woman, 1959.
You were how old?
I was 3. I was a lot older than that when I first watched it, though.
Oh, I hope so.
Oh, it had a budget of $50,000. The release date was October the 30th, 1959. The director is the famous Roger Corman, king of the B movies. Mm-hmm. Writer was Leo Gordon. The producer, Roger Corman. The composer was Fred Katz. Cinematographer was Ari Newman. And we go down here to the cast. First we have Susan Cabot. She plays Janice Starlin, a.k.a. the Wasp Woman.
Hey, spoiler. Right.
I like to lay all the cards on the table. She was also in the movie Sons of Alibaba in 1952. We have Anthony Easley. He played Bill Lane. And he was in, I believe this was I know it was a TV show at one time. It may have been a movie too, called The Hawaiian Eye in 1959. There was a TV series, I believe, called The Hawaiian Eye also.
Was he a private investigator, or was it just...
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know it was like a volcano eye or something.
I vaguely remember seeing that, but I do see things on TV where it's on late night somewhere. We have Barbara Morse, plays Mary Dennison. She was in a movie in 1959, A Bucket of Blood. I have seen that.
Is that Vincent Price?
No.
Oh, okay.
That's a good B movie. We can watch it one of these times too. William Rollrick played Arthur Cooper. He was in Playhouse 90 in 1956. That's the year I was born. We have Michael Mark as Eric Zenthrop. He was also in the 1939 classic, The Son of Frankenstein, which may be one of my favorite Frankenstein movies.
Which we covered.
You're right.
Speaking of that, it's about time to do our October Universal Monsters series, so be on the lookout for some more classic art toasts coming up.
We ain't even got out of August yet. Then we have Frank Gersel. He plays Les Hellman. DOA. He played in DOA in 1949. Bruno Visotto. He was the night watchman, which I thought he was sort of comical in this.
Is he the one that pulls the gun out and goes running in because it's radio's not working?
He was also in a classic movie, 1959, Attack of the Giant Leeches. You ever seen that?
No, have you?
Yes. It's a B movie. Then there was Roy Gordon, played Paul Thompson. He was also in the movie Attack of the 50-Foot Woman in 1958.
That's a good movie.
Carolyn Hughes played Jean Carlson. She was in Paratroop Command in 1959. Frank Wolf, he was a delivery man. He was in The Great Silence in 1968. Lana Mars was the nurse in this show, and the Wasp Woman is her only credit. Of
Are you sure it's our only credit, or is it just...
It's the only one that's on my paper.
Well, if you did any research there...
Well, I'm counting on the researcher. We have Philip Berry. He's the second delivery man. He was in a movie in 1985, Evergreen. Then there's Gene Corman. That was he had a bit, and he's uncredited. He was in the 1958 B movie, Night of the Blood Beast, which we covered, right?
No.
That wasn't it?
We did the Blood Beast Terror.
Close enough.
Maybe we can add that one to the list.
It's got to be a sequel or something. Roger Corman, he's the director of this. He was the doctor in the hospital. He was also in the Silence of the Lambs in 1991.
You ever seen that?
Yes.
Do you like it?
Yeah.
You don't remember?
Yeah, it's been a long time, but yeah. Aaron Kincaid, he was Renfrew. He was a beekeeper toward the beginning. He's uncredited, but he was in a movie. I'm sure this is a classic, The Ghost in the Invisible Bikini in 1966.
We might have to cover that.
And then we have Carl Schulzner. He played Mr. Baker. He was uncredited in it, and he was in a movie in 2001 called Camouflage. And that's your cast?
Oh, are you done?
Yeah. You want me to go on? I can rattle.
Well, let me go over a little bit of the technical details before we let you give a synopsis of this episode. So, the runtime is 63 minutes and 74 minutes. There's two different runtimes. There's the sound mix, which is mono. The color info, it's a black and white movie. The process is spherical, and the printed format is 35 millimeters. Do you know what this was called that was released in Bismarck, North Dakota? It wasn't known as the Wasp Woman. It was known as the Insect Woman, and that was released on February 12, 1960, so that's pretty interesting. So
what they do, just change the name so they can run it back through the theaters?
But I mean, it didn't come out till February 12, 1960, so it was almost a whole year later. This came out, or 6 months later, because this came out July 5th or whatever. So, all right, Dad, before we get started, give us a quick synopsis of The Wasp Woman.
Well, this Janice Starlin, she owns a cosmetic place, which was at one time a thriving business, but sales are going down. And so she meets up with this doctor that says that he can reverse the aging process to make people look younger, and she gets interested into it. And so she sets up a laboratory where he can work, and they end up using it on her, and then strange things starts happening. The Wasp Woman is on the loose.
Can I say one thing?
What?
If you notice like if you go on, you can watch this on Tubi for free, by the way. But if you notice like the poster or whatever, the Wasp Woman, it's like a big wasp with the woman's face. Nothing like that in this movie.
Right, and it's got the body of a wasp with a
It kind of reminded me of The Fly. Remember The Fly where the guy had it? So, all right, so let's start talking about this movie a little bit as we walk through it. So, if I remember right, they open up. They're at like a sales meeting, I guess, business meeting, and as you said, Janice Starling's like, "Look, something happened right here back in February or whatever, where sales started to decline." And one guy's like, "Well, I know what it is." They said, "You've been the face of this company for so long, and this is where we brought in other people, models, to look at it, and that's when the steady decline." And basically, she's all upset because she's getting older.
Yeah, and they're blaming her for the loss of sales.
Right, because she's not the face of the company anymore. Correct?
Correct.
Well, carry on. I was just getting you started.
I was telling you. Well, she gets They start discussing about a royal jelly from the queen wasp.
But did you notice that they were going between bees and wasp an awful lot? Like they would intertwine that at the beginning.
Right. Did you? Well, you sort of missed that on the beginning of that because we went directly to the sales meeting. But right before that, there was a bee farm, and there's 3 versions of this. Mm-hmm. There's different lengths of it. I don't know if you've seen it or not at the beginning where they're at the bee farm, and the guy goes back and he asks where this doctor is, and he's way in the back, but he's back here experimenting with wasp and about with the jelly and things, and he's warning before anyhow he lets him go. So this doctor, he comes to Miss Starling to discuss about this royal jelly. He gives her, well, anyhow, they're talking about this in their board meeting about the jelly, and I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. And the board was sort of rejecting it and all that. Said, well, we don't. It's not been worked with and ain't proven. We don't even know if it'll work. People may react differently to it, and so they advised her to stay away from it. Well, this doctor that was experimenting with the wasp, he comes to pitch it to Starling about the royal jelly, and he has 2 guinea pigs with him. And so he shows her the guinea pigs, and he takes out this syringe, and he injects one of the guinea pigs with the serum, and in a few minutes, it's gone back to almost a baby. He gets the other guinea pig and shoots it, and it has the same effect, and it turns younger. And so they reached an agreement and said he hasn't tried it on humans. And Miss Starling said, "You'll try it on me," but he tells her we must run more tests first. And so, you got anything with that?
No, not yet. But there's also a cat involved soon, too.
Yeah. So we switch scene, and Miss Starling's back with the board and talks about how sales will soon be going up. And but she won't reveal to them yet, but it assures them that sales will go up. It'll climb. And then you go and there's a lab scene where they're setting up the lab. Equipment is coming, and
doesn't she tell them like, look, no expense, whatever you need, I'll write the bill.
She's pulling out all the stops for him. Mm-hmm. Then the scene changes again, and we have Bill's talking to Mary in the office about all the secrets that's going on, how that sales is going to go up, but nobody knows how or why. And so he tells Mary to keep her eyes open on to what's going on. They're sort of a boyfriend-girlfriend telling this.
Yeah, we have another little love story undertone, which the way it ends, once again, when we get there, I don't know if that's a Roger Corman special.
Well, if you really think about it, you look back at all the monster movies, there's some sort of a love story going on here. Frankenstein and the Bride of Frankenstein.
Creature from the Black
They're
Lagoon.
all obsessed with that there. And so the Slime People, if you recall, it had a double love story going on in it. All right. Anyhow, he tells keep eye what's going on. Then it changes scene again. It's an office setting. And two other secretaries are talking, and Dr. Zimthrith comes in to see Miss Darling, but she's in a meeting. And so she said, can you give this note to her? He'd like to see her. And he walks out, and one of them, they think that Dr. Zimthrith is a crackpot. So we're back in the lab, and Miss Darling comes to see him, and he shows her a cat that he has injected that has turned the cat back into a kitten, and tells her that today will be her first injection. So he gives her an injection into her arm. And Mary was listening in on a phone. We're back in the office again, and she's eavesdropping. It's sort of like the White Christmas episode. The woman at the inn was always listening on the phone, and and she tells Bill that she heard that they got a bill. Bill's the man, and Bill's the what they owe for $2,300 for an enzyme extract, and so. The scene changes, more injections being made. She tells him to increase the dose, and he tells her patience. And he tells her that she already looks 5 years younger. And so Mary, again, is snooping around, and she's going in some drawers, and she takes some papers out of the drawers, and she calls Bill on the phone. And so later on, Bill, Mary, and Arthur talk about the doctor's claim that he can reverse aging, and they discuss what they can do. So, are you with me on the story here?
Oh, yeah.
You look like you don't remember none of it.
I just watched it last night, so yes, I'm very familiar. But weren't they all at like lunch or something when they were talking about that? Is that
right?
Bill? Yeah.
Yeah. So Miss Darling is late in the office. She goes down to the lab, and she gives herself, without the doctor there, another injection. But as she walks out, she fails to see that the kitten has turned back into a full-grown cat. Mm-hmm. I say full-grown? Full-grown.
Full-grown.
We'll put that on a blooper episode. So the next morning at the board meeting, sort of the slogan, I guess, I'm going to say, is called Return to Youth. And so Miss Darling asked Mary to stay after the meeting after she lets go. That dismisses the meeting. And she asked her about it. And she said... Mary tells her, she asks how she looks. She says, it's a miracle. And Mary tells Miss Darling, you look 22 or 23 years old now.
She's like, that's exactly the age I was when I first started doing the modeling.
Yeah. And so the process is working. And so we go back to the scene. We go back to the lab. And Dr. Zimthrith finds the cat's not in his cage. And then the cat attacks him.
Yeah, he's like on top of the fridge or the...
And he jumps off.
It's a feral cat, not just the regular cat. He's like
right.
It's feral.
Feral. Spell that.
I-T.
I said that, not it. Well, anyhow, he ends up killing the cat. And so at dinner, another scene, Mary, Bill, and Arthur discuss how that it may not last, the youth thing. He said, and Arthur's saying, if I can only get into the lab get more information on this. We don't know what's going on. So the scene goes back to the lab, and the doctor goes home, but he leaves the door cracked open. It didn't close all the way or locked.
Right, but is this also where the doctor, he's kind of got like a weird look on his face, and he goes outside and just steps off the curb and gets ran over by a car.
Gets hit by a car. You hear the tires swirling.
And his hat goes flying. I was like, was he just such in a state of shock he didn't look around?
Evidently not. He was like sort of in a daze. I think it was because of the situation with the cat, and he's probably thinking of all this here, what kind of effects this is going to have on Miss Starling during all this here. Again, Arthur goes in, he looks around, he finds a book, and a knock comes at the door, and it's Miss Starling. She said she was looking for Dr. Zen. So she leaves Arthur, and then Dr. Zenthra gets hit by the car. And so Miss Starling, she calls the police and tell him that he's missing, we can't find him. And she finds a letter is missing, which Mary had took earlier in the show. And so there's a letter missing, so she calls Mary. And she tells him also about the doctor. And so Mary talks to the police and says they want to talk to our author. Anyhow, while they're in there with the police officer, he's talking, he gets a phone call. They find the doctor, he is in a hospital, he's in a coma. So we go in there to the scene, to the lab again. Miss Starling gives herself another injection.
Well, she's upping the injections too at this point, isn't she?
Right,
like more than...
and she's increasing them more than what she was normally having. And so Arthur breaks into the lab again, and he's over there and he's looking at the serum, the vials that was in the refrigerator, checking them, see what was used, what they really are, or anything like that. And then we start hearing all this buzzing noise, like a beehive, and Arthur is attacked by the Wasp Woman, and she kills him, and she biting on his neck. You see blood all running down his...
And I think this is the only flaw that I saw in the Wasp Woman is when she's jumping on him. This is the scene that you were talking about where her hands look like gloves because you still see skin between her.
It's just a wasp glove.
Right. So that was the only like...
If you wasn't looking for it, it happened so quick.
But after watching it 5 times, you pick up on different stuff. But she looks pretty cool. The Wasp Woman looks really cool.
Yeah. Anyhow, well, she kills Arthur and dragging him off somewhere. Anyhow, you got this night watchman walking around, making his rounds.
Is he trying to listen to the radio? Is that what it is? And there's interference or something?
Yeah, he's got that. Didn't have like an earphone in too.
Something like that.
And
he's like, it always acts up this time of night or something. Yeah. He's walking around trying to get a signal.
Then we go back to the lab again for another injection. And the next day at the board meeting, she's talking to the men and all that there. And she's not with it. Her head's pounding. It's hurting. And she just misses the meeting because of her head hurting. Mary asked her if she's okay. Do you need me to give you something? Aspirin. She said no, that she'll be all right. Then we have a scene of the 2 secretaries talking.
They're pretty funny too.
Yeah, they talk with that sort of Laverne and Shirley.
He's like, well, maybe you should ask for a double dose or whatever.
Talking if Mr. Arthur had ever come in. He's never late, and he seems like he's always there. And these 2 delivery men come in with a rollaway bed because they're going to transfer Dr. Zenthra to the hospital to stay there in the building with him. He'll have his own nurse and things like that. And so they comes back. You see him bringing the doctor in a wheelchair where they made a room for him. And Dr. Zentler tells Miss Darling that he says, I've got something I got to tell you. It's really important, but I can't remember what it was. There's something I got to tell you. And so they get him situated in the room.
Yeah, she brought because the delivery guys are delivering a hospital bed to the office.
Yeah.
So so not only do they have a lab in this building, now they have a personal office, like hospital, nurse, and everything. So she's pulled out the pocketbook and is just paying all kinds of money.
Whatever it takes.
Yeah, she's trying to get the answers. Like, look what's happening.
So we go into the next scene, and Bill and Mary are talking about Miss Darling walks in. They're talking about what's going on and things like that. And Miss Darling asks, what are you guys talking about? She wanted to know, and Bill makes a comment that Arthur was not at the meeting that morning. And she says, well, he's been here a long time, and she sort of just dismisses it off. And then he asks how the doctor's doing, and he noticed, and he tells Miss Darling, he says, you look a lot younger. And so she leaves, and he tells Mary to you think that she can give you one of them doses? She hits his arm, and so then we hear the night watchman is making his rounds again, and all of a sudden the buzzing sounds starts, and it's coming out of an office. He draws his gun, opens the door, creeps in. Then it shifts up to where the nurse and Dr. Zentler is in his room, and they hear this screaming. And that's where the Wasp Woman got the night watchman.
But doesn't the nurse tell him that, it's just in your imagination or something, like you didn't hear anything?
You've had a bad dream, right. And that and there. And so then we'd switch the scene again. Starling and Mary are talking about the missing watchman. And I think right in there is where they said that, the nurse said that he heard screaming and all that, and they just dismissed it as a bad dream. So we go back to the restaurant again, and Bill and Mary's eating. And Bill said that the nurse told the doctor that it was a bad dream, but Bill said something's going on at the office. And so Mary and Bill, they go back to the office that night, and they get into the room, and they're breaking into a drawer. This is Arthur's office, I believe it is.
And this is where they find the journal of Zenthrop, right?
Yes.
The doctor in Arthur's drawer.
And so I think I missed something here. Anyhow, they're in there, and the nurse, they tell the nurse, it's Miss Darling tells the nurse to step out, and she was talking to Dr. Zenthrus, and she's telling him, and he's sort of in and out of it still, she's telling him that something's happening to me.
Well, this is also where she says, look, you need to get better. She said, I need more of this injection. She said, we're almost out of this. I need you to make some more of the enzyme extraction to inject, because she's like, I don't know how to make it. You're the only one that knows how to do it.
He tells her again, he said that, she said, you got to help me. I don't know what's happening. He said, I got something. I got to tell you something. I just can't remember nothing right now. And then we go back to Mary and Bill in Arthur's office, and they notice that Arthur's pipe is still there.
Yeah, they said he would go without pants or something before leaving the pipe around.
He never goes anywhere without it. And Bill says he's somewhere in this building. And then he says he's dead, and the night watchman's dead.
Would that, if you were Mary, would that make you think that Bill's the number one suspect?
No.
No.
Would you?
Well, he's sitting there saying they're dead. I mean, how is he going to know that?
Well, we could take a twist on this and rewrite the ending.
Well, we could. It might have been better.
I said, how do you know they're dead? And then he comes after her, and he's the
But that would be the
king wasp.
That'd be the wasp man.
All right, then we go back, and Starlin tells the doctor, "You got to help me. You got to help me. There's only enough serum left for one more injection. You got to make more." And she keeps screaming, "Help me, help me." See, the nurse was out of the thing, but she's standing at the door listening. And so she walks in, and when she walks in, Miss Starlin is turned into the Wasp Woman. She knocks her down on the couch, and
She screams.
she screams, and she kills her. And then we go back to another. She kills her. I think it shows her dragging her off too, I think. But Mary and Bill, in the meantime, they come up from wherever they was at in Arthur's office to check on the doctor. And he's sleeping, but he sort of fainted because of when the Wasp Woman attacked the nurse. And Mary happens to look over, and she sees there's a, I don't know if it's there's blood on the couch. I think there's like a piece of clothes there or something. There was blood on that. And so then we go back to the laboratory, and Mary's making another injection with the last of the serum.
Not Mary, is it?
No,
Gonna be
Miss
Starlin.
Starlin. And so we go, and Bill and Mary hear the doctor coming to, and the doctor says something about the cat, which he's referring to about the cat that attacked him, and that he must warn her. He's referring to Miss Starlin. He says she's in terrible danger. And so Mary calls Miss Starlin's office, and she asks them, "So what are you guys still doing in the building? Because it's late at night now." And Bill gets the phone. He tells her to stay there. "I'll be right up. I'll explain everything." But he ends up sending Mary up.
Well, because Zinthrop's like, "Look, she's in terrible danger. She's not who she says she is." And Bill's like, "It's okay. The police are coming. Then we'll go upstairs and we'll solve this out." And he says, and he sends Mary up there. Well, he's like, "Look, you idiot." He's like, "You just sent her to her death." He said, "The woman that is Miss Starlin is no longer her. She's more creature than she is woman or man now because of the enzymes that have been injected into her."
Yeah, he tells her that she'll kill Mary.
Yeah.
And so Mary goes into Starlin's office and start to explain to her what's going on. Tell her, "Call the police, call the police."
She ends up slapping her.
Yeah, she slaps her. Then you hear the buzzing sound. And Starlin turns into the Wasp Woman. And she attacks Mary, and you hear her screaming. And so Bill and the doctor, which somehow couldn't hardly move for the whole show, they go up to go where the screaming is.
Okay, let me ask you a question. If you look on the elevator when they come out, it says it's like on the 50th floor or whatever. How are they going to hear the scream of Mary 50 floors above where they're at? Do you see what I'm saying?
I understand that.
Even if it was 5 floors up, you're not going to hear that.
No.
That's another ding on this movie, but...
And so the doctor gets on the elevator, and Bill go up the stairs.
Well, the doctor goes, because he's watching the elevator come back down because Bill's pushed the button, and he's like, it stopped on 40. He's like, she's went to the lab, and he said, Bill says, I'm going to take the stairs, and the doctor ends up taking the elevator.
And so they get there in time. They can see Mary's feet being dragged around the corner and into the lab. And so then the Wasp Woman attacks Bill, and the doctor, and I think Bill and them get in a fight, and the Wasp Woman get into a fight. And so the doctor, he finds this acid,
like hydrochloric acid or something,
and he takes it and
get away from her.
He throws it on her, and of course her face is starting to burn from the acid. And but after he throws it, the doctor slumps on the floor like he's had a heart attack.
Right.
And so I assume that he dies because you never see him no more in that. And then Bill goes over and the Wasp Woman still standing there screaming, holding her face, and he pushes through this window thing. You hear the scream.
Did he push her or did she jump?
I thought he sort of pushed her.
I thought she just jumped, but
you can watch it a fifth time and clarify that.
no, I think
any of you out there, if you watch this, you can send a note to the podcast telling us which one it really was.
Yeah, Bond, you're on it.
And so Mary's okay, and Bert and Bill holding her. The Wasp Woman's dead. And
then the shows at the end, there's just a bunch of bees or whatever.
Yeah.
So
the bees don't have nothing to do with the wasp, though.
No, that's the one thing that I had a problem with. They just interchange them like nothing.
They're the same thing.
Right. So let me go ahead and throw this little trivia stuff I found. So this is the final film of Susan Cabot, which was the Wasp Woman, right? Susan?
She was in another one, I believe.
No, but I'm just saying this was her final film.
Oh, okay.
Is that the Wasp Woman? That's Janice Starlin, right? Susan Cabot?
Uh-huh.
The role of the beekeeper played by Aaron Kincaid was added after the film's initial release, so that was an added one. We talked about Roger Corman's cameo as the doctor in the hospital. This film debuted in theaters as a double feature with, have you seen this movie? Beast from Haunted Cave.
Beast from Haunted Cave. It sounds familiar. I don't picture it because there's a Beast from the Haunted Sea, too.
Yeah.
Or Creature from the Haunted Sea.
The film's premise is similar to The Fly, which was released only a year earlier, which, if you want to hear that, I believe, was it me and you or me and Kyle covered that already? So Susan Cabot's character plays a woman who takes wasp royal jelly enzyme to stay younger. In real life, Cabot suffered from mental illness. She reportedly tried to treat it with human growth hormone, which her son took for dwarfism, but it may have exacerbated her illness. Her son later killed her, reportedly in self-defense after she attacked him during a mental breakdown.
That could be another movie.
Might be a movie. When the movie was released for TV, it had new scenes added. Oh! In 1964, there's a colorized version which has an added 11 minutes where the scientist is fired from his job as beekeeper for testing on wasps instead of bees, which ends up the plot of the movie since he winds up working for Susan Cabot. In the original black and white version, the movie begins with a meeting where Cabot discusses her business failings with underlings, then meets the same doctor in the next scene where the audience sees him for the first time as well.
See, I've watched a couple of them versions.
I've seen them too.
I think there's 3 of them that's on there, but I only seen the 2.
I think I watched 1 or 2 every time I watch it. So Barbara, do you notice how they spelled Barbara, how her name was spelled? It's Barbouras. I thought that was pretty cool. Co-starred in one of director Roger Corman's A Bucket of Blood, where she also played the good girl. The opening credits features bees, not wasps, which we've talked about at length in this episode. Michael Mark was certainly no stranger to horror movie fans, having appeared in numerous Universal classics, including 4 Frankenstein films, The Black Cat, Tower of London, and The Mummy's Hand, as well as other studio chillers, which is like Mad Love, The Black Room, and The Face Behind the Mask.
Have you seen The Tower of London?
If I have, it's been a long time
Boris
ago.
Karloff. It ain't bad.
Some of the music from this film was reused in The Little Shop of Horrors. In one of the final scenes, a bottle of acid is thrown at Susan Cabot, but she isn't acting when she throws her hands up after it strikes her. Someone had filled the breakaway bottle with water, and it was so heavy that when it struck her, she said, "I thought my teeth had been knocked through my nose." The fake smoke used to simulate the acid also choked her. After falling through the window, unable to breathe, she tore some skin off along with her monster makeup, leaving a huge purple mark on her neck. Do you notice where she says after falling through the window?
Falling through the window.
Shoved through the window. And the body count for this episode or movie is 5, which includes 1 cat. So, I wonder if any bees were harmed in making of this film. All right, Dad. We'll let you go first. Give us your feelings, ratings, reviews.
Okay. The story itself was pretty good. It flowed pretty good. In some movies that we've done, the story don't flow good.
Plan 9.
Well, that was one of the top tier. But I see why they redone some of this here, like by putting the beekeeper thing at the beginning. It sort of
Fleshes out the story.
yeah, and that's been some of our criticism about a lot of movies that we do is they don't give us a background of why this is happening or taking place. So they've done a pretty good job on this story. The acting was okay. They all done a pretty good job at it. Even in the small parts that they had, we was talking about the two secretaries. They was hilarious.
A little comedy relief in there.
Yeah.
And the Night Watchman, too.
Yeah. And so it was, the acting was good in it. The Wasp Woman was pretty good. Of course, we if we're not careful, we nitpick at everything. Which I noticed a long time ago about the glove. I think I mentioned that to you before. But all in all, the mask and everything that she had on looked pretty good on that. And so me, on this star rating of The Wasp Woman, I'm going to give this here a solid 6.
Out of 10.
Out of 10.
That might be the highest rating you've given one of our B movies so far.
It probably is.
Well, because I know how to pick them. Let's just put it that way.
You don't know how to pick.
No, I mean, I have to agree with everything he said. I think Janice Darling, Susan, she played that role to a T where you believe that she actually wanted to be a younger person again. The love story underneath again, I didn't really care for, but I never do. It didn't really add anything to the movie except at the end when, oh, Mary's in trouble. Let me rush up there. Well, you shouldn't have sent her up there to begin with by yourself if you know there's murders in the building. Yeah, but for the very few flaws that this movie's had, it's definitely worth a watch. I'd probably give it about a 6.5, 7 myself. Will I ever watch again? Maybe. I mean, it's not bad. I mean, but probably not for a while since I've watched it 5 times in the last
You need to
4
watch
months.
the color version.
Right. Well, I mean, it's all on there. There's like 3 different versions on there, like you said. But yeah, this is definitely one that even for its budget of $50,000, they made the most of what they had. So I really enjoyed it. So, Dad, let's go ahead and tell everybody the next movie you picked that we will be covering here shortly. Tell them the classic movie that you picked.
I picked a classic movie, The 7 Faces of Dr. Lau.
Oh, boy. And let me just tell you, I just finished this movie, and it's...
You just don't have taste.
Yeah, okay.
It's a classic of... well, you wait and see.
Yeah.
We'll let you all watch it and let me know.
Yeah. Well, with that being said, I think this episode's coming to close, and that's a wrap.
And cut.